So we're gonna start with our materials. I used a 3.5mm hook, and I am using Friends 8-4 cotton. To make this skirt, we're gonna start off with making a slip knot. So to make a slip knot, we're just gonna go ahead and wrap the yarn around our fingers, pull it up, and pull it through like that. Now I'm gonna insert my hook and tighten it. And we're gonna start with the waistband portion of the skirt. I personally like to foundation chain. You can chain regularly if you want to, but this is how I constructed the skirt. So you're gonna start by chaining 3. You're gonna yarn over, insert our hook into that very first chain that we made. Just like that. We're gonna pull up a loop so that you have 3 loops on your hook. And you're gonna yarn over and pull through one of those 3 loops. You should now have 3 loops on your hook again. We're gonna yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. We're gonna repeat this, but this time we're gonna go into that first chain that we made on the top, right here. Just like that. You're gonna yarn over, pull up a loop so that you have 3 loops. You're gonna yarn over and pull through one of those loops, that's creating a chain. And then you're gonna yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So we're gonna do the same thing until the chain is our desired length. I personally made my waistband longer when I made the skirt. The longer that you make your waistband, the less rows you're gonna have to do because it's gonna be covering most of your body. But you can literally foundation chain however much you want for the length of your waistband. This is a very customizable pattern. I did freehand it, so I just kind of did whatever felt right. So I'll get back to you guys when I am done with these foundation chains, and then I'll show you what to do next. So I chained 23. So after you're done with your chains, you're going to go ahead and chain 2, and we are going to yarn over and insert our hook into that first chain that we have at the top. And we're only going to be going into the back loops, putting a half double crochet in each back loop. So we're just gonna half double crochet in the back loop until we reach the end of our waistband. So that's what your waistband should look like. We're going to be doing ribbing on the waistband. You guys see? That's what it should look like. So we are going to continue this until it wraps all the way around your waist. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to turn our work, and then I like to crochet over the little tail so that I don't have to weave it in. But we're gonna yarn over and half double crochet in the back loop. So yeah, guys, literally repeat this until it fits around your waist. Okay guys, so I have 2 more stitches. And 2. So once we are done crocheting our entire waistband, It should look exactly like this. You guys see how it's kind of ribbed? We're gonna slip stitch the waistband together. So I like to take my yarn off the loop and I insert it into the first stitch on this side. Like that. And I take the yarn with the loop and I put my hook through the loop and then I tighten it. So it should look like that. And I just go ahead and slip stitch all the way down. So I'm gonna be slip stitching in the back loops. So we're gonna go through that loop and then we're gonna go through this loop right here. So the two loops that are closest together, that's what we're gonna be slip stitching through. So again, we are going to only be going into these two loops right here. Those are the ones that we're gonna slip stitch in. So just pick it up and slip stitch all the way down the waistband. Okay, so after we're done slip stitching, we are going to keep the yarn attached, and let me go grab the skirt so I can show you guys what we're going to be doing next. Okay guys, so on the skirt that I made, you guys can see that there's like squares at the top. I don't know what you call it, but there's little squares at the top. That's what I used like so that I can loop the drawstring in. So we're gonna be making that part next. To start off, to make the drawstring, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna chain one. Before we start making the little squares on the top, we are going to single crochet all the way around this waistband so that it's a little bit easier. So I'm literally just going in and making single crochets anywhere I can around the waistband. Try and make sure that you do an even number of single crochets around the waistband as well, just so the squares that we make end up aligning perfectly. I'll be back so that I can show you guys the next part. So once we are done putting the single crochets all the way around, we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made at the beginning of the row, and then we are going to chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I want you guys to make sure, maybe try it on and see how it fits, because you want to make sure you have enough single crochets around to where you are still able to pull it up your hips. You don't want it to be too tight to where you can't pull it up your hips. So after we have chained 4, we are going to yarn over and we are going to skip 1 stitch and put a double crochet in that next stitch. Just like that. So now we're going to chain 2. And we are going to skip 1 stitch and double crochet into the next stitch. Again, we are going to chain 2. We are going to skip this stitch and double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 2, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 2, skip 1, double crochet into the next. So we are going to repeat this pattern all the way across the waistband until we reach the starting point again. This is what the little squares should look like. Let me really show you guys. So this is what your little squares should be looking like so far. We're going to continue that all the way around the waistband. So once we are done with our little squares, our first round, we are going to chain 2 like normal, and then we're going to slip stitch into the second stitch here. Let's go in there. And slip stitch. Just like that. So guys, this is what the first round, let me zoom out so you can see. This is what the first round should look like. You should have a bunch of these small little squares. So we are going to repeat this a second time all the way around. So you are going to chain 4, and we are going to go into the top of each double crochet. So in the tops of each double crochet, that's where we're going to be crocheting. So we're going to put a double crochet into this area. We're going to do another double crochet. So we're going to chain 2 and then do another double crochet right here. We are going to chain 2. And we're going to do another double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet. So we are going to repeat this pattern all the way around the waistband, and then I'll get right back to you guys when we are done. So once we have crocheted all the way around again, you're going to chain 2 and then slip stitch again. Just like that. And now we are going to chain 1 and we're going to cut our yarn. So this is the top half of our skirt. Let me zoom you guys out. So this is the top half of our skirt. This is exactly what it should look like. This is going to be the top portion. Now we are going to attach the yarn and do the same exact thing that we did before on the bottom. So you're going to flip it around. We're going to attach our yarn. And we are going to repeat the same process. I'm going to single crochet all the way around, and then I'm going to do 1 row of the little squares. I'll get back to you guys when I'm finished single crocheting and doing my 1 row. I just finished single crocheting and doing 1 row of the mesh stitch on the bottom. So now I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do next. So when you are done, you're going to chain 2 and then we're going to slip stitch. Okay, and once we are done slip stitching, we are going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now on the tops of each double crochet, we are going to place a treble crochet. So you are going to yarn over once, yarn over again, and into the top of this double crochet, we are going to insert our hook, pull up a loop. We should now have 4 loops on our hook right here. We are going to yarn over and pull through 2 of those loops. we should now have 3 loops on our hook. We are going to again yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then we are going to do it one more time, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And that is how you do a treble crochet. So we are going to chain 2, and then we are going to put another treble crochet in this top of this double crochet. So you are going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So let me do it one more time. We are going to chain 2. You're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. So guys, this is what it's supposed to look like. They're supposed to be a little bit longer than the ones on the bottom. So we are going to treble crochet all the way around the skirt, and I'll get back to you guys when we are done with that. Okay guys, so I have one more stitch. Now I'm going to chain 2, and we are going to slip stitch. Once you are done, this is what it should look like. You see we have our first row of squares, and then we have our first row of rectangles. Now we are going to start the ruffle pattern. So what we are going to start off by doing is we are going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. After we've chained 4 in this same exact spot right here, we are going to double crochet 2 times. So 1, 2. That is what it should look like. You should have your chain 4 and then 2 double crochets in that space right next to it. You guys see? Yes, we understand. Now we are going to chain 1, and we are going to do 1 double crochet in the top of this treble crochet. So right in here, we're doing 1 double crochet. You guys see? Just like that. Now we're going to chain 1, and we are going to double crochet in this chain 2 space. Now we are going to chain 1 again, and we are going to double crochet in the top of this treble crochet. Just like that. So if you're confused, this is what it should look like so far. So we have our chain 4, our 2 double crochets in that chain space, our double crochet on top of our treble crochet, and then we have another 2 double crochets in this chain space, and then another double crochet on top of this treble crochet. So we have done that 2 times. We are going to repeat this 3 more times. So chain 1, double crochet in this chain 2 space 2 times. Now we're going to chain 1 and double crochet into the top of this treble crochet. We're going to repeat this again, 2 double crochets in this chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet on top of this treble crochet. Chain 1, 2 double crochets in this chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet on top of this treble crochet. just like that. So when we count, we are supposed to have 5 of this pattern in total. So 1, make sure you guys can see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once we have completed those 5, we are going to chain 1, and then you are going to double crochet in this next chain space 3 times. So this is a cluster, so we're going to do 1 cluster of double crochets. So that's 3 double crochets right there. That's 1 cluster. You are going to chain 1, and then in that same exact chain space we are going to put another 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to chain 1 afterwards. So that is what it should look like when you are done. This is the pattern that we are going to repeat all the way around the skirt. We're going to put 2 double crochets in this chain 2 space. So 1, 2. Now we are going to chain 1 and do 1 double crochet on top of this treble crochet. Chain 1, 2 double crochets in the chain space. Chain 1, 1 double crochet on top of this treble crochet. Chain 1, 2 double crochets in this chain space. Chain 1, 1 double crochet on top of this treble crochet. Chain 1, 2 double crochets in the chain space. Chain 1, 1 double crochet on top of this treble crochet. We're going to repeat this. Chain 1, 2 double crochets in the chain space. Chain 1, 1 double crochet on top of the treble crochet. So we are going to repeat the pattern every single time. We are going to do 5 of these 2 double crochets, 1 treble crochet. We are going to do that 5 times, and then we are going to chain 1 and do the clusters of double crochets. Chain 1 after doing 3, that's 1 cluster. That's what we're calling it. So after doing 3 double crochets, you are going to chain 1, and in the same exact space you are going to put another 3 double crochets. We are going to repeat this pattern all the way around the skirt. So always make sure you have 5 of the 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After each set of 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, you are going to put 2 clusters of double crochets. So a cluster, chain 1, and a cluster. We are going to repeat this pattern all the way around the skirt until we reach our starting point. So I have a couple more stitches left, so we're just going to finish these off. So in that last stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. So we're going to do 2 double crochets in that last stitch, and then we are just going to go ahead, chain 1 and slip stitch. Yeah, chain 1, and then we are going to slip stitch. Just like that. This is what the first row on the bottom should look like. It should kind of be ruffling up a bit. So that's what you're gonna want yours to look like. Just like that. Okay guys, so now I'm going to chain 4. And then we are going to repeat the process. So I'm going to put 2 double crochets in this chain space right here. And I'm running out of yarn. Let me get more yarn. Hold on. Okay guys, so after I did those 2 double crochets, we are going to chain 1. Skipping these 2 double crochets, we're going into this chain space. We are going to put 1 double crochet, just like that. And then we are going to chain 1, and then we are going to do another 2 double crochets in this next chain space. So we are going to be working in the chain spaces for this row around. So we are doing the same thing, the same exact pattern. So chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 1 treble crochet into the chain space, chain 1, 2 double crochets in this chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet in this chain space, chain 1, 2 double crochets in the chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet in this chain space, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, and we are going to end off with 2 double crochets in this chain space. So chain 1, and let's do 2 double crochets. Just like that. And once we reach our double crochet clusters right here, we are going to put another 2 double crochet clusters in the middle of these clusters in that chain 1 space right there. So chain 1, and we are going to put it right in the middle, just like that. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet. So that's exactly what it should look like. You guys see? So it's the same exact pattern that we did in the last row in the chain spaces. So I'm going to chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets. Now we're going to do one more 1 double crochet. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to do our double crochet clusters in this cluster area. So in that chain 1 space, we are going to do 1 cluster of double crochets, chain 1, and another cluster of double crochets. Chain 1. So that is exactly what it should look like. You guys see? Now the clusters are split in half because we have the new set of clusters in the middle. We are going to repeat this all the way down the row. 1 double crochet in that chain space. Right next to it, we are always going to chain 1 and put 2 double crochets in that next chain space. Chain 1, 1 double crochet in that next chain space, chain 1, 2 double crochets in that next chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, 2 double crochets in the next chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet in the next chain space, and so on and so forth until we reach the next set of clusters. When I am done with the next row, I will be back to show you guys what we're going to do next. So now I'm going to slip stitch to finish off the row. And it should look like that. So it should look like 2 double crochets. So now I'm going to chain 4. And we are going to start the row with a single crochet in this chain space right here. Just like that. And then we continue on doing the same thing like I told you to do in the last row. We're going to continue the same pattern of the single crochet, 2 double crochets, and the clusters. So yeah guys, I will see you guys when I am done with this last row, and I'll tell you what we do after that. Now we're going to be finishing off row 3, so I have one more stitch to do left. Chain 1, and we will be working in this last chain space. I'm going to put 1 double crochet cluster in this chain space. So that's 1 cluster. Now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the same exact space. Two. Okay guys, now that I've done 2, we're not going to chain 1, we're just going to slip stitch into our starting chain. And there you guys go. Now to start off with row 4, we are going to chain 4. And we are going to start off by putting 2 double crochets in this chain space. 1, 2. Now we are going to chain 1, and we're going to put 1 double crochet in this chain space. We're going to chain 1. Now we're going to put 2 double crochets in the next chain space. One, and we're going to do this one more time, putting 1 double crochet in this chain space, chain 1, and put 2 double crochets in this chain space, now we are going to chain 1 again. Now we are going to switch it up a bit, and we're going to put 1 double crochet cluster in this next space. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do another cluster, so we are going to chain 1, and in the same exact space, 1 more cluster. 1, 2, 3. So that is going to be the pattern for this row. We are going to chain 1. So guys, that's going to be the pattern for row 4. We are going to do 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and then a cluster. So we are going to repeat this pattern, and I'll show you guys what we're going to do next. So in this chain space, I'm going to put 1 double crochet, chain 1, next chain space, 2 double crochets, chain 1, in the next chain space I'm going to put 1 double crochet, chain 1, in the next chain space 2 double crochets, chain 1, next chain space 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets, now I'm going to chain 1, and since we have an extra chain space before we reach this cluster, I'm just going to go ahead and put 1 double crochet here, chain 1, and now in these clusters we are going to put 1 cluster of double crochets. So right in the middle in this chain 1 space, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have 1 cluster. Now we are going to chain 1, and we are going to repeat the pattern. 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets, so we are always going to do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We are going to repeat that 3 times, and then we are going to do the double crochet cluster in this next space. So chain 1 and double crochet cluster. Chain 1, double crochet cluster in the same space. Okay guys, so I want to make sure that we understand the pattern. So we are always going to do the 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. We're going to do that 3 times. And then we are going to do a double crochet cluster, chain 1 double crochet cluster. And then we are going to do the double crochet once and then double crochet twice again until we reach the next cluster. And in the next cluster we're only going to put 1 cluster of double crochets. So we are going to repeat this pattern all the way around the skirt, and I'll get back to you guys when we are on row 5. Okay guys, so we are at the end of the row. So guys, we are at the end of the row. On this cluster that we made in the last row, what we're going to do, we're going to chain 1, and I'm going to double crochet cluster 1 time. So 1, 2, 3 in that chain 1 space, and then we are going to chain 1 and slip stitch into our starting chain, just like that. Now for row 5, all we're going to do is we're going to chain 4, and we are going to double crochet in this first chain space. 1 double crochet. Okay guys, so after we chain 4 in this first chain space, we are going to place 2 double crochets. 1, 2. We are going to chain 1, and in the next chain space place 1 double crochet. Chain 1, do 2 double crochets. Chain 1, do 1 double crochet in the chain space. Then we are going to chain 1 and do 2 double crochets. So we are going to be repeating the pattern of 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. So we're going to do that 3 times. I'm going to chain 1, and once we reach the cluster, we are going to double crochet on top of the cluster, so on these chains. So I'm going to put a double crochet into this first chain at the top. We are going to put another double crochet in this next chain at the top. Another one in the next chain. In this chain 1 space, we are going to place 1 double crochet. Now in this next chain right here at the top, we are going to place 1 double crochet. In this next chain at the top, we are going to place 1 double crochet. And then this last chain at the top, we are going to place 1 double crochet right in there. So that's what it should look like. We're just double crocheting on top of the chains that are in the cluster. So you should have 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we are going to chain 1 and we are going to continue the pattern. 1 double crochet in the chain space, chain 1, 2 double crochets in the next chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet in the chain space, chain 1, 2 double crochets in the next chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet in the chain space, chain 1, 2 double crochets in the chain space, chain 1, 1 double crochet in the chain space, chain 1, 2 double crochets in the chain space. Now we are at our single double crochet cluster right here. We are going to again chain in the top of the chains. We are going to double crochet in the top of these chains. So 1 double crochet at the top chain, 1 double crochet in this next chain, and 1 double crochet in the third chain. So we should have 3 double crochets on top of that cluster. And we will continue the pattern again. Guys, we are going to continue this all the way around the skirt. And that is going to be the end of our row 5. And then I will get back to you guys when we start the second row of ruffles. Okay guys, I'm sorry, I had to like bring out my light because it's really gloomy today. I am almost done with this last row, so I'm just gonna put in the last couple of stitches. I'm going to crochet in the top of these double crochets in these top chains right here. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets. Okay, and now we are at our last area, so I'm just going to chain 1 and I'm just gonna slip stitch. There you guys go. So I'm gonna chain 1. You guys see, this is what the first layer should look like completely. It should be very ruffly. So that's what it's supposed to look like. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to add the next layer of ruffles into the skirt. We attach our yarn, we want to make sure that we're attaching it to the side to start so that it all lines up. That's why I didn't weave in my sides yet. I wanted to make sure that I could really see where I was putting my yarn into. So we are going to turn our skirt inside out and we are going to attach our yarn in this area right underneath the treble crochets. So we are going to continue doing the little boxes, but we're going to do it in this treble crochet area right here. So right underneath the treble crochets, I'm going to attach my yarn in the middle, as close to the middle as I can get. That's where I'm going to attach my yarn. So in that little chain space right there, I'm going to put my yarn on my hook and tighten it. And I'm gonna go ahead and chain 1. I'm gonna go ahead and chain 1. Now I'm gonna chain 3 more. 1, 2, 3 to make sure I have 4 chains on my hook. So I'm trying to show you guys the best I can. But you see we have our yarn attached right here. So we are going to skip one. So we're not going to chain into this area. We're going to skip one. So that's this treble crochet right here that we're skipping, and into this chain space right next to it, we are going to be double crocheting. Just like that. Now we are going to chain 2. And you are going to skip 1 and into that next space next to this treble crochet, we are going to be putting a double crochet. Just like that. So you guys see how they're making little squares again? So we're going to chain 2. And we're going to skip this area, and right next to this treble crochet, we are going to be putting a double crochet into that chain space. Chain 2 and repeat the pattern all the way around the skirt. So I want to show you guys what it should look like. You guys see? It should look exactly like that. You guys see how I have my, let me highlight it with my hook. I have my treble crochets right there, and my squares are popping out just like that. So we are going to continue that pattern, chain 2, and put these little squares all the way around the skirt, and then I'll be back with you guys to start the second row of the second tier. So you see that I'm back at the beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to slip stitch just like we were doing before into that second stitch there, our second chain that we made. So let me show you guys what it should look like. I'm showing you in a way where I'm folding it so you guys can see how it's sitting like that. It's like an extra little layer. That's going to be our next row of ruffles. So now we are going to do what we did in the beginning, and we are going to chain 6 because we're going to make the treble crochets. Just make sure that you make a treble crochet on top of each double crochet. We are going to repeat the treble crochets on top of the double crochets for 2 rows. So we are going to do this row, and then we are going to do an extra row. Okay guys, so the last thing you're going to do, I'm using a different yarn because I ran out of the yarn I was originally using. But literally all you're going to do once you are done crocheting the entire skirt is chain a bunch. I chained a whole lot, a super long chain. It depends on if you want like extra strings at the end of your knot when you tie your chain. But for the drawstring, we're just gonna make a super long chain that fits around the skirt. Okay guys, and once we are done chaining our stupid long chain, we're literally just going to cut the yarn and pull that through. Okay guys, so to weave it in, I literally just attached my yarn to my needle, just like that, and into these top corners here. I'm gonna start directly where I think the middle of my skirt is as well. Yeah guys, I'm starting where I think the middle of my skirt is. So I'm just going to position it like that, and like maybe two points from the middle. I'll start right here. I'm doing it in the bottom chain. I'm literally just weaving it through. I'll probably do it maybe once or skipping 1 or 2 squares in between. This can be however you want it to look though. It's up to you. Guys, don't mind the color of yarn that I chose. First of all, the camera is making this look worse than it is in person. I still don't like the color in person, but I'm just letting you know it's the camera. It's very gloomy outside. It's been gloomy like all week here, so I'm sorry if the lighting looks a little different in each of my clips because this was filmed throughout the week. Okay guys, so when you weave it in, it should look a little bit like this. And hopefully your strings are in the middle. If they're not, you can like tweak it a little bit, shift them over a little bit, but you just go ahead and tie your little knot when you put it on to make sure it fits your waist perfectly. I like to cut these extra bits off just so they aren't as long. Depending on what yarn you have, you can burn them too, like if you're using an acrylic yarn. This is what the skirt should look like. I added an extra row to mine just because I figured it would be a little cuter with an extra row. But this is how the skirt should look. This is the original one that I taught you guys how to make, just the 2 rows on it. So that's how that one looks. It's very cute. I also did a longer waistband on this one, so you guys can see the difference on how, depending on how wide you make the waistband, you have to do less rows. Since I made this one a lot shorter, I had to do way more rows for this skirt. But yeah guys, that's literally it for the tutorial. So thank you guys so much for watching, and leave me some feedback in the comments down below. Tell me how I did. Let me know if the tutorial was easy for you guys to follow, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.